to go all in, to put all your chips on the table. And if it doesn't work out, you bust, you fail, you're left trying to figure it out. So how should you handle moving? Because moving is very risky. You are uprooting your life. You're taking a chance to go to a new environment, possibly starting a new job or finding a new job, developing new friends, learning the area, all these changes, all these potential failures, and just a lot of risk. Moving is very risky. That's why most people will spend most of their life fantasizing about moving, but they won't execute it. And if they do execute it, it's too late. Most of their good years with regards to their age, their health, and their wherewithal to be able to enjoy a new environment are gone. And they pretty much live the same life, just in a house in a different state. So especially when we talk about moving to Florida. Florida's for the young. Why? Because outdoor activity, whether it's surfing, whether it's swimming, whether it's walking, whether it's volleyball, whether it's, even boating to a certain degree, to be outdoors and not just to be looking at your garden, that requires a level of energy, youth, and health. Now, certainly if you're elderly and you have a nice place and just relaxing in warmer weather is nice. But, other than the winter, Florida's hot, so there's a lot of movement, sweat, and energy that's exerted living this outdoor tropical life in this tropical lifestyle to really get the most out of Florida. To squeeze the lemon or the orange, shall we say, because Florida is home of the oranges, to squeeze it all out, to get the most out of Florida, it just means that you're going to enjoy the outdoor activities while you're young enough and you can handle it. So you want to move to Florida while you're young enough to do it, but you don't want to bust. And that's wise, because in life we can't eliminate risk, but we can mitigate risk through making wiser decisions and increasing our odds for success. So I'm going to share with you my experience and some tips that I've learned in moving to Florida, because I grew up in New Jersey, I moved to Florida. Most people who live in Florida are not born in Florida. They move from other states or they retire from other areas. And it's very much a mixed pot, especially along the coast of Florida. As you get more inland, there's more locals. It's basically farmland and raw land inland, other than, Orlando and Disney World and that, which is mainly like a tourist trap. So, number one thing, look, the biggest risk you take when you move is messing up your money. Because your money is your independence. It's not about worshiping money. It's not about being greedy. But you need a level of financial independence to be independent and to enjoy life a certain amount. So the biggest risk you take is getting a job. And that's why to mitigate, to lessen that risk, secure a job before you come to Florida. Now, it's harder when you don't live here first, but I'm going to explain to you how you can do it. So how I did it was I waited for a job transfer. Okay, it took me about 2 years. And obviously, if you work with a company or corporation where you can get a job transfer to an office or a building in Florida, or you can work remotely, then it doesn't matter where you live. And especially now after the pandemic, a lot of people are able to work remote. So not everyone, but a lot. So step one to mitigate risk is get a job transfer. Okay. And you have to be willing to wait. Okay. I waited 2 years. So now if you're not willing to wait, or that's not an option because your company doesn't have either one of those options, then you're going to have to seek a job in the industry you're currently working in Florida to see where they're at. There's 4 major hubs in Florida, meaning there's 4 major metropolitan areas that have most of the economic activity. That's Miami, Orlando, Tampa, and Jacksonville. So those 4 major metropolitan areas house most of the economic activity. Now, certainly there's other parts, Tallahassee's the capital. And certainly I don't think you want to live in the heart of those areas. Probably want to live on the outskirts, an hour or so away to get away from the congestion. But that's just to give you a heads up, because, all those areas are completely different. Jacksonville is different than Miami. Orlando's different than Tampa. They're all a little bit different. So you have to visit first. I mean, that's another way to mitigate risk. Visit Florida. Don't just go to Disneyland. Go to local towns and go visit some of these companies that may potentially have either a location where you can transfer or a new job. See, one of my backup plans was I did some research and I found a couple companies that offered a job in my industry. Okay. And so it was a little bit less because the pay scale is a little bit lower in Florida, but taxes are a little bit lower and homes are a little bit lower on average. So if my transfer didn't work out, then that was a backup plan. Okay. And I already knew where their headquarters was located. I already visited Florida. I took a vacation. I went by their headquarters. I talked to their HR. So, just for me, being that I was already with a company for 10 years, I was willing to wait, because you put a lot of time into it. So your age, the amount of time you work with your current company, and what are your options as far as getting a new job with a new company located in Florida. Now, again, when you get a new job in Florida, they're going to kind of want to know if you're already living in Florida. If you're not already living in Florida, then you're going to lessen your chances of them hiring you because you look like a tourist. That you have an idea, a dream of moving to Florida, but they don't believe that you're going to do it. And they're unwilling to take a chance on you, So most employers kind of want to see that you're already here. Okay. So how do you mitigate that? Well, if you know someone who lives in Florida and you can use their address, or if you can get some type of domicile address through mail forwarding, you'll have to look at all the legalities of that. That's a way, because then you can get your driver's license and things like that, depending on how you do it. But there's a lot of ins and outs to that. So I'm not going to say just do that. You got to be committed to come to Florida. Once you get your driver's license and all your paperwork and stuff, and you got to be committed. Now, again, if you're still working in a different state, then you're going to have a lot of tax implications, because you still got to pay state income tax if you're still working full-time in another state, even if you have a driver's license in Florida. So there's a lot of legalities. You got to be careful. But I'm sharing with you some tips. So, job transfer or new company, research that, visit Florida, visit the different areas, visit the Jacksonville area, the Tampa, the Orlando, the Miami, and then visit the outskirts. Those are the best parts. Do you want to live by the Atlantic Ocean, or do you want to live by the Gulf of Mexico? They got different energy. The East Coast of Florida and the West Coast of Florida, completely different. The Panhandle of Florida, the Northwest, completely different. Visit, explore. You get 2 weeks, you get 4 weeks of vacation every year, whatever you get. Take that vacation time, come down, rent a car, drive around, okay? So you got job transfer, a new job lined up already. You're not going to come here on a hope and a prayer. You already got your money. You've already visited the area. You know the different places, the different energy, the good areas, the bad areas, the high crime areas, the high income areas. You know because you visited. Okay. Next is you stay very flexible when you first come here. You rent, or you figure out something that you don't just commit to one area, because you're probably going to change some things incrementally. Okay. So keep much very flexible. Okay. And then you have to figure out too, living alone, or even if you're going to bring your family, after about a year or so, there's going to be a temptation to go back to where you came from. And if you don't do things in order, secure a job, visit first, really get your life in order with good habits, no matter where you live, you got to focus on good habits, self-care. If you come to Florida and your life's a shit show, and you think, oh, if I'm in the sun, if I'm not paying state income tax, it's going to be better. You're going to come to Florida and you're going to be like many people, you're going to leave. And then you're going to blame Florida for not fixing your life. If you don't come with good habits, you're going to leave with those same bad habits you come with. And I've seen it time and time again, the scorn people that come to Florida because they didn't have a job, or they didn't have good habits, or they came with a toxic relationship, and then they're going to leave the same way they came, like a bat out of hell. Take your time. Focus on self-care, do things in order. What are we talking about? Do you want to come to Florida to thrive or to bust? Okay. There's no guarantees, but there's risk management, there's wisdom, there's doing things in order, and there's building a healthy foundation in your life. And I hope that this video reaches your soul, which it's good, wholesome advice, nothing evil, nothing crooked. Okay. And if it does, it's free to click that thumbs up. Thank you to those who do. You want to support the channel, click the blue join button. Check out my playlist. I got a whole playlist, hundreds of videos about Florida, different areas, about moving to Florida in more detail. So check that out on my channel. And thank you for watching. I banged out another video. Show up, sweat, and keep doing self-care. Peace.